Thank you, Bad Mary, for that too sweet playing. Welcome back, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is US Comics Cast, Chapter 3, your HQ for all things comic book related. Yo soy John Rivera, the CEO and co-founder of US Comics.
And I'm not that bilingual, and by not that bilingual, I mean not bilingual at all, and I'm also very sick. So I'm your co-host, I'm your COO. I am the real-life Puerto Rican Eric Cartman, according to a recent Friends thread. I'm Charlie Rivera, and this is US Comics Cast. Happy Comic Book Day, John.
Happy Comic Book Day to you, Charlie. Go ahead and file my little brother's new Eric Cartman moniker under the news, the haps, as it were, for the week, because I did not see that coming. Charlie Rivera, a.k.a. the Puerto Rican Eric Cartman. Let me ponder that one for a minute.
The worst part is the direct comparison. Friend of the show, constant subscriber. He really only listens to the audio version, which is available anywhere you can hear podcasts, Apple iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. But the man who's about to be wed, Bobby Outson, was referred to as the Butters to my Eric Cartman. And once you kind of get that visual in your head, it won't go away.
If you guys are going to fill out the entire cast, then yeah, for sure. I would certainly sign off on you as Eric Cartman, but certainly that is not the least of the news that it's dropping. Everything from damn Ezra Miller literally running his ass right out of the Flash franchise, running right out of the DC extended use plans. If you're not in the know, if you have not jumped on board the fucking bandwagon at this point, do it, because the new episode of Moon Knight that dropped today was straight Indiana Jones meets the Mummy, original Mummy, fire, just all that nostalgic Egyptian goodness. Thor, Love and Thunder finally dropped the trailer. Even a veritable genius like we have in Taika Waititi still has a little bit of fan service in his tiny, frail threesome having bones. He's like, you know what? Fine. You want the trailer? I give you the trailer. Yeah. Okay. Great. That's my Taika Waititi.
That's not.
Fucking, if you can do better, let me hear it.
I don't know if it's because I'm congested, but it sounds like you slipped the word titty into his name, which is now the only way I will refer to him. Taika Waititi. Exactly. John.
Honestly, one titty is the exact opposite of what he would be. But you know, sometimes you gotta be a little modest. I get that, Taika.
Exactly right, John. I just want to take a moment to let everyone know we are completely live today. We're on Facebook.
Oh, hell
we're on
yeah.
YouTube. We're on the Purple Site Twitch. So feel free to comment along on what your opinions on everything. What your opinions are helps fuel our sometimes anger and rage. But Thor, Love and Thunder, now the fourth most viewed trailer of all time. So that's a good sign. I also want to mention, though, that I don't have COVID. Been tested many times. Seems that I don't have the flu. So this is just allergies beating the hell out of me. Maybe a little cold mix in. But John, you're about to head to Boston, not to film Boondock Saints 3, but to return to arguably the scene of the crime, because I think you were the original outbreak monkey for COVID a few years ago.
While I thoroughly appreciate your ham-fisted transition, I very much had my transition prepared for that, but you know what? We take it when we get it. That's at least what all Charlie's ex-girlfriends used to say. Yes, indeed, Charlie is right, and John's transition be damned. We are, and by we, I mean me, we are headed to Boston, the scene, the original scene of the crime. Oh, we got the passes ready to go, and it is PaxEast time yet again, kids. PaxEast, who, frankly, had been put on the back burner It had been canceled lo these many COVID years. And as Charlie mentioned, I was at the last PAX East to have been in the history books. It was literally on the cusp of the COVID outbreak. The fact that I'm still standing here, the fact that I do not sound like Charlie at this point for the last 2 years is somewhat of a miracle, because just mouth agape, basement dwellers. If anyone is unfamiliar with PAX East, Charlie, if I may, PAX East is the New York Comic Con equivalent for video games, and I would say the San Diego Comic Con, that would be the equivalent to PAX West for video games. A huge video game convention. If you're a gamer, if you're a casual tapper, just if you have somewhat of a 16-bit morbid curiosity, this is the place to be. Vintage games, small producers, big time, huge video game production companies, games that are coming out, games that have huge DLCs coming. It's just out of this world. Now, Charlie, I'll throw it right back to you. You, if I'm not mistaken, you have never attended an exclusively video game conference, yes?
No, and I'm desperate to. I in fact, when you put on your lanyard, I was looking for mine, because I could have sworn.
No,
I could have sworn this was like a team.
Just, you know what? I'm a liar. I'm a liar, because we did get two of these did come bundled together. It's just that as everyone is familiar with, the gamer in question for USComics is Sergeant Finesse. So I will be attending PAX East with Sergeant Finesse. Charlie, listen to yourself.
Well, that's fine.
Man.
I'm going
you
to.
Think I'm gonna drag you.
I'm gonna go to a board game convention. It's called Holy Shit. There's more games than just Monopoly, and I'm going with Ellis. That's a real thing. And
you know what's funny is that tabletop gaming is a huge component of PAX East. So ha. But probably one of the most fun things about the upcoming convention, first and mostly, is the fact that it's not occurring in my apartment. So just the fact that I can get out of the apartment, stretch the legs, most of the muscles have atrophied on me. So that's pretty great. We can hopefully start building them back up like Neo plucked out of the slime in Matrix. But the fact of the matter is, it's occurring in Boston. I had a lot of fun writing the copy for today's damn episode. In Boston, where you don't have dinner, you have Sapa. Where these video game nerds do not live in their parents' basements, they live in their sala. Like, the fucking Boston is a character in and of itself. If you have ever seen a Matt Damon movie, if you have ever seen a Ben Affleck movie, if you have ever watched the Patriots lose to the Giants in the Super Bowl, you know Boston. Like, you just fucking know it. It's wicked awesome. It's just fucking great. I'm gonna have nothing but Sam Adams and video games for the next 4 days, and I cannot wait.
I borderline insist you throw on a rosary and just quote Boondock Saints for the entire trip. How is that not a video game, by the way? Like, just the Saints in prison.
How is it not a video game? Like, all the fucking things that they attempted to squeeze $1 out of, Troy Duffy, God bless that guy. He knows how to squeeze a buck out of his fans. How did that not happen?
Yeah, I feel like that's there's a glaring hole. So when you get to PAX East, I think you grab one of those.
Just ask around.
Scruffy nerf herders, be like, you produced this thing my brother wants. Also, all things related to WB 2K22. You go ahead and you grab me any free swag they have.
Want me
bumper
to
stickers.
Now that's the funny thing about it is, like, video games are very much on the forefront. No longer is it something to be like you to call yourself a gamer. Like, there's no shame involved. People have T-shirts made up and business cards. I mean, our very own Sergeant Finesse is a professional gaming streamer. Like, that's how he pays his bills. And the funny thing about it is, like, we know multiple cats that fall into this category. Honestly, something like PaxEast, I'm not at all surprised. We're getting requests, and by we I mean me, getting requests like, "Hey, keep your eye open for this, keep your eye open for that." Anything from these like custom controllers, specialty controllers. The expo hall is huge. Literally what you'd expect for if you've ever been to any kind of nerditude convention. That's what their expo hall is like. Exhibitors, AAA publishers to huge developers, blockbuster games, new stuff that's coming out, indie teams, what have you. There's special guests, there's bands. There's a
That's
console
awesome.
free play, so you can, unlike a Comic Con, you can't just sit down and start drawing your own comics. No, no, no. But when you're at the video game convention, you can sit down and play some stuff. What else? They have huge panels, people speaking. The cosplay is nuts. That was the funny thing about it. The one thing that really surprised me more than anything else, the first time that I went a couple of years ago, um, was the level of cosplay. Not the sheer amount. I expected some, but the level of cosplay detail. Like these are not. Nobody was walking around like Pac-Man or fucking Raccoon City PD. These people were deep diving NPC characters that you only knew of from like level 13 of a 12 level game. These mother suckers were all about it. They're having tournaments. Um, there's like literally a PC arena where you can bring your own setup and plug in and do what you got to do. No Wi-Fi streaming though, which is actually somewhat surprising. You can bring though your whole goddamn tabletop console and hardwire plug in.
Well, I guess
What else?
just to have enough Wi-Fi to cover that
Nah,
many
because they had
nerds.
it. They had it prior. They had it the
Oh,
last time
really?
around, and it's in the same spot. It's at the Boston Convention Exhibition Center. Um, but like friend of the show, Wayne and Karen, they're having this huge pin trading thing. So Wayne and Karen maybe next year. What else? What else? There's like you had alluded to cheating on me about. There's a big tabletop free play, huge area for tabletop games. What else? What else? I mean, there's just a ton of stuff. Like to go through
That
it, we
is there
could
anything that
probably
really
do
is
the whole
like
thing.
tickling your anus? Like what's getting you randy? Is it just the experience? Because again, ultimately I think this is the first big huge thing you've been able to do in the tail end of the pandemic era.
Other than Christmas, this is singularly the biggest thing that I have friggin' attended. Because even like I just finished up a pair of shows, live theater shows. But
Yeah.
even there was like specific limitations. There were certain things to take in consideration. The first, even more so than the latter. Um, Honestly, the fact that this is so available is
Yeah.
probably the most exciting thing for me. This is as close to normal, quote unquote normal, as I have seen since the last time that I was up in Boston, walking around with a wicked hot slapper. Like it was this is really the closest to making those memories a reality again. So I'm all about the exhibition hall. I'm all about the cosplay. I'm all about picking things up, trying things out. I'm all about buying shit that I don't probably need. As always, my number one game above all else, above the sports games, above the fucking role playing games, above the shooters, my number one is always going to be, at least until something comes along to dethrone it, it's always going to be Red Dead. And especially now that they've made it a point, Rockstar did, of separating Red Dead Online from Red Dead Redemption 2 proper, which is still purchasable, whereas Red Dead Online is free to play. I'm really looking for news there. Give me something. Give me something. I'm not talking about free beans. I'm not talking about a limited time clothing or item. I'm talking about give me some new DLC. Open up Mexico finally. Give us some new gameplay modes. Charlie and I are running roughshod all over the call to arms. Charlie damn near doubling my kill total like a monster that he
I am
is.
such a cheap player though. I like find a spot and I'm just I will never stop my play style, but I'll never defend my play style. I've never been good at video games, so I find something that works for me. I'm like, I found a way to get in this chimney, and I could shoot 1 round a minute, and I'm gonna use them for headshots.
Charlie's gonna be the anti-Santa. He'll get himself into the chimney and just like sit at the top of it, pluck, 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 snipe people from a mile away. My favorite though is your stealing kills. That is such a like if this was a driving game, Charlie stealing kills would be the equivalent of never touching the brakes.
It's
Charlie,
true.
if he's in a racing game, even if he's on a horse, this mother sucker will never touch the brakes. It's a thing of beauty. But also as well as you could have somebody under the barrel of your gun. You have literally poured 6 shots into them, and when that 7th is required to finish him off, here comes Charlie.
And then I'm always confused. I have so much leftover ammo. Like, I only used 38 rounds for 38 kills. These guys are easy, and it's because John used 400 bullets.
Charlie's like, I killed 120. How many did you kill, Charlie? 1,064. And I only used my knife. Okay, cool. You're very good at the game.
It is a personal joy. But what's funny is Red Dead has really never had a lot of love by Rockstar shown for their online mode compared to GTA.
Not compared. No.
You know, so there's still this huge player base. Weren't you just telling me a screenshot from Red Dead recently won an award? Like, that's incredible.
So the one thing, look, people cannot like the time frame that it's set in because it's for lack of a more eloquent explanation, it's a cowboy game, right? So it's set in the Old West, and you're at the literally the tail end of the century. So you're limited somewhat as far as the technology that's available. You're like you're on a horse or horse and bugging it if you really are a baller. You got weather to contend with. It's not always the same weather situation. It is a fucking outstanding game. It's a very smart game, but no one can deny, whether they like it or not, is that it's a beautiful game. It is a gorgeous video game. So like Charlie alluded, off of the message that I had sent him, a virtual, like a digital photography contest was won by a cat who took a screenshot of gameplay of Red Dead Redemption. It fucking won an award. This is a game that is near on 3 years old. This is not a brand new game that just rolled out. This game has been around for years and years. Online started somewhat slowly, like you popped in, you were by yourself in every lobby, nothing to do. They got off to like a Star Wars Battlefront 2 level start. People are like, oh well, too bad, because the story mode is brilliant. You know, Henry Cavill talks a lot about it. Obviously, we know him as a huge Witcher fan, as a huge battle
nerd.
He's a huge, literally and figuratively, a huge nerd. But he was talking about like one of the adaptations that he would love to sink his big British teeth into, now that he's done rooting Superman for me, is Red Dead Redemption, because again, the stories are just tremendous. It's a very, very well written, intricate story, and frankly, I don't know anybody who's got 100% completion on the story mode. There's just so much to do, so much to find,
and there must be people, but those psychopaths, God bless them.
I mean, like, if those people are floating around out there, they have no time on their nerd fucking scale to throw to comic books, so we wouldn't see them here. Like, we're about the part timers.
Exactly. But that's the beautiful thing, I think, about PaxEast, is it really does work for people like Sarge, who's deep in the world of video games, but also it works for people like myself. I would never consider myself a full-fledged gamer, but God knows I love them. Love me some Red Dead. Love me some 2K22 WWE. Some of those games are just awesome, and that's the nice thing is PaxEast seems to serve whatever level of video game nerd you are.
Oh yeah, they got something for everybody.
Beginner all the way to the end, and I think anyone who tried to argue that, gotta call him a goddamn liar.
There it is.
Like one
there it
George
is.
Toy boy Lucas,
Oh,
because we all
George
know
Lucas, you lying
before
son of a
anything
bitch.
else, Han shot
Han
first.
shot first. And I'm, as prior mentioned, I'm using my Jesus Christ Superstar shot glass gifted to me.
Nice.
Damn straight by the best stage manager in the biz. Thank you, Giuliano, and Andrew as well. So
I'm
put him
dying.
up. Put him up.
So this is fake. I'll die. So
You know,
yeah,
this is
put
gonna
him
be
up.
for both of us. Salute anyway for me and Charlie.
That shot's so delicious. Cough, cough.
I felt your bile in that one. Gross.
So going from that level of nerd, man, you mentioned Henry a second ago. Finally, we're starting to get some real news from the Warner Brothers Discovery merger. For those not in the know,
Yeah.
Discovery went and said, we'll take that. We'll take that off your hands. You want to sell, we want to buy, and thus Warner Bros. Discovery is now a thing. Now, from my point of view, out the gate, I wasn't particularly excited. This doesn't really mean anything to me.
But Discovery doesn't have any cachet value. It's not
Yeah.
like Warner Brothers Disney, Warner Brothers Starbucks, Warner
Yeah.
Brothers USComics. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
have any chutzpah, as they say.
I was really hoping, like, it's like a Warner Brothers Apple would have gave me hope, but there have been some meeting minutes leaked. There have been some insiders reporting out, and it was like news to my ears. Their first tentpole beyond unmurkying the waters, when they look at the DC comics, films, and
Mess.
television,
Disaster.
they really can't help but call it a mess. And they specifically were talking to what you and I were talking about just last week, which is one of the problems is for every bad property, there is a cult-like fan base. So they need to just make decisions that feel right, that will help solidify the ground in which the DC, specifically films and television, stand on. A lot of those television shows are wrapping up. A lot of these movies are kind of all but dead on arrival. Ezra Miller's Flash, which is set to reset the universe, is getting delayed again and again because Ezra can't stay out of trouble.
He can't stay out of jail.
But the most important thing, the music to your little brother's ears, was that the number one priority. It's not the TV products. It's not the films that are in development. It's what are the tent poles of DC. And it all starts with one man with a beautiful red cape, and that, of course, is fixing the Superman problem. Insiders reported out that their number one goal is to get some respect put back on that beautiful Superman shield and that
Get
S.
Superman's name out your mother-sucking mouth.
What's amazing is apparently out of these meetings came a lot of just confusion over what they called the mistreatment of the first superhero. So apparently a lot of their plans, regardless of what they keep, regardless of what they scrap, there's some stuff that's just bulletproof. They're not going to stop making Peacemaker Season 2. That's on. That's on and popping, and they're ultimately going to let that creator, they're going to let James Gunn do what he does, right? Because he writes every episode himself. He directs a bunch of the episodes. They're going to let him go and have fun with what's left of the Snyderverse. The other big deal that they made was with the Flash.
Is it though even?
Again, I think it all comes down to opinion. But we got Andrew over Facebook asking if we're still getting the Michael B. Jordan Superman project.
Yes,
that's
we are.
the sort of stuff that is not really on shaky ground at this point. They didn't speak about canceling anything. Supergirl is still going to be a priority on the heels of the new Flash movie that's going to see Batfleck come back. It's going to see Michael Keaton back as Batman, who he plays a big part in the Batgirl series. That's still on and popping. The Green Lantern Corps TV series is still going, but what they're really doing is they're putting a spotlight and they're going to put the money into Superman. They think the entirety of the universe can't live without. Something I, for a very long time, have felt was very, very true. Something like The Joker, right? A phenomenal movie, a beautiful standalone. It's an art house film with a big blockbuster appeal, right? Like everyone fucking saw that movie. Pattinson's Batman did really tremendously well for them. The streaming numbers from the first couple days.
Second biggest COVID release.
And what's beautiful about that, there's enough good that if they take that sort of commitment, that the rumor and innuendo out of this meeting was very much, it was not what Cousin Paul said regarding John and I fighting over control.
Charlie.
You never run the comments. It's a brand new thing from you, but you can run the comment section. They do not want to bring back the Snyderverse.
Your sickness affecting your digits.
But ultimately, what they said was, don't worry about what's currently percolating. Don't worry about what happened before, and don't worry about what the masses think they want. Let's produce and let's create things that we believe in. And that's the sort of attitude I think they've really struggled with. I'm going to kick it to you. Obviously, they're not smart enough to bring you into it.
Yeah,
but
that would be smart.
Do you think this is a good sign? Do you think this is the same bullshit every company talks before they have to produce anything? And have you, of any of the previous Superman pitches that allegedly came up and gone, was there one that you heard about that you really liked, Flyby or Kevin Smith's version? Is there any Superman project that got canceled that you were like, oh, I think that would have been really great?
You mean other than my own that I've pitched relentlessly?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they should do. They should just take fucking fan submissions because your idea is bulletproof.
Well,
unintended.
Honestly, like we used to joke about the Mets having a promotion a couple of years ago. If you buy 2 tickets, you get 1 free. If you buy 3 tickets, you get to play shortstop. Like, that's where fucking DC should really be at this point, because they're, to my point of view, they're largely beating their heads against the wall, trying to determine. It's a double-sided. It's a double-edged blade. On one side, the executives, like the upper level, higher floors in the building, they're beating their heads trying to determine what is it that people want to see. What do they want? We want to give them what they want. Want to give them what they want. Whereas the truly, in my opinion, again, gifted creators, they say, I'm going to tell you what you want. I'm going to give you something delicious that you're going to suck right down and talk about with your friends and nerds and loved ones heading home after the fact, or sitting on the couch if it's straight to streaming. So I think that's where the big divide is. But to answer your question in the short form, no. I have not heard a pitch. Matter of fact, I sent you today the G-string fucking of J.J. Abrams Flyby version of the proposed costumes. Hated them. Yellow boots on Superman? Stop it. And we're talking about this stuff as if like, well, boots don't make a movie, right? And yes, that's true. But I would argue that it speaks to the lack of understanding of the character. So Joker, you had mentioned Joker prior. So we have gotten multiple awesome takes on Joker. Matter of fact, we got if you watch the extended removed scene, even more so, you got in the Batman yet another outstanding take on the Joker. They've largely been hits versus misses. But you won't ever see the Joker and be like, I wonder who that is. You see the Joker, you know who he is. He's also somewhat easy to write properly. Even more so the case when he's written wrong, which is what I think Jared Leto's Joker was. And it screamed like, this is just some guy. right? This is not Joker. This is not. He's hanging out with Harley. Harley Quinn was right. Joker wasn't right. So when you're writing something, when you're composing and putting it down on paper, and then ultimately on film, digital, what have you, if they've missed the mark, it's gonna show up big, right? It's gonna be big on the fucking huge screen, sometimes in IMAX, and you're gonna take a big shot and you're gonna miss big. None of the Superman pitches, including Kevin's, sorry Kevin Smith, you know we love you, have been on point. They just haven't, and I think it's for one reason and one reason only. It's the lack of involvement from comic book writers, people that I don't know, do that job on a daily basis. They've established who the character of Superman is, who the character of Wonder Woman is, who the character of the Joker is. Batman, look, somewhat easy, right? Somewhat easy. Spray paint the black, put him on the road to vengeance. You're good to go.
Let me ask you
know
this.
what? There are secondary, tertiary characters that, if you fuck up Superman, if you fuck up Joker, what chance does Blue Beetle have?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's the thing that's always bothered me. And it comes down to the Snyderverse lovers versus the Snyderverse detesters. Because I don't think there's a lot of wiggle room with how you feel about those movies. One thing that came out of these early meetings was that they feel Superman not only has been underutilized, they feel like he's been mismanaged. And in many interviews, obviously with Henry Cavill, they constantly are asking him what his status is. And again, I don't want to get into the Henry Cavill of it all, but one thing I do love about him as a person is that he seems to be every year able to be more and more honest with what he felt about Superman's treatment in that universe. That you never get to see Superman be Superman. Now, I suspect, and I've always suspected this of the modern era of Superman, is there's a certain amount of shame of who Superman is for some reason. The red boots, the red underwears on the outside.
Oh, the character, you mean?
The brightness of his suit. This is something that we haven't seen done right in live action form, really, since Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, where the last time he was in like royal blue and a proper red. Ever since then, it's let's get rid of the crotch, let's change the belt, let's make the boots shorter, let's make the boots taller. There seems to be, where there doesn't seem to be any shame in kind of the Batman look. The silhouette of Batman is always the same. The silhouette of Superman is always the same. I'll give him credit for that. But the minute you look at details, they always seem to be trying to put him in navy. They hate his little underpants. Do you think that it's just a matter of up until now there's been a certain shame in the way that character looks, and also the fact that this character has all the power in the world and he's not a dick? Everyone always seems to try to turn Superman into a jealous ex or a guy who's underneath the surface just billowing with rage.
We talked about it just relatively recently. The story, the version, the pitch that people seem to be able to wrap their minds around is, if you're this guy, bad guy. Like that all-powerful fucking villain, if someone could do anything in the world that they want to do, they would be a dick. And the truth of the matter is, it's very difficult to understand how someone who could do anything in the world with all this God-given power elects to help people, to help other people, not to serve himself, but to serve humanity, when that cat is not even a human, so to speak, either. And Andrew, that's a dynamite drop. And so Andrew, coming to us through the Facebook chat, Superman shouldn't have to be quote unquote evil to be interesting. The Superman and Lois CW show has been the best live action interpretation in a long time. And I agree with you, Andrew. And that is, to my way of thinking, the best thing that has come out of the quote unquote Arrowverse. Because those shows, that storytelling, the way that they handle heroes there, and those are not A-listers you're seeing running around. Talk about mismanaged. Yeah, poor Superman has been knocked about the head and neck, but his Kryptonian sun-infused power body can take it. Some of these cats, these Bs, these Cs, these D-list characters,
Poor
cannot
Canary.
take it. Real quick, Charlie, I just want to run
Yeah.
through because obviously we know they've established that Superman is DC. For all of the popularity, for all of the money that Batman has brought in, the first thing I think, and maybe it's just my own big blue Boy Scout glasses that I'm seeing the world through. But I think you say DC, you think Superman. Fucking Batman is almost a Marvel character at this stage in the game. So you have the largely forgettable in ahead of time League of Super Pets. Who gives a shit? Black Adam. Now, Black Adam is an interesting thing because we also have been waiting for a long time for this flick. We've been waiting for a long time for it just to be made because Rocky Johnson has been attached to it forever. I feel like he was wrestling. He was fucking already been talking about Black Adam. When he was making the Scorpion Kings movies, in the back of his head, he was pretending it was making a Black Adam flick. We're finally getting it. I liked but didn't love Shazam, aka the real Captain Marvel. I liked it. I didn't love it.
I didn't dislike it.
Worried that Black Adam is going to be more like if you loved Shazam, yeah, but what if you didn't love Shazam? So now you're having, are they really going to give him his proper due as an anti-hero? Not a bad guy, but not a hero. Like, be smart, DC. Come on. Hopefully, got my fingers crossed. Again, we just mentioned Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Should be called the Shazam Squad. Ridiculous. I'll watch it. I'm not super hyped for it. You mentioned it before. Batgirl's coming up. Now, Batgirl does have the benefit of carrying over our 1980s Batman in all his black and yellow glory, which I think is hot. Also, you had mentioned prior again, Ezra Miller running through realities. This is going to be DC's version of the multiverse. So they're going to be picking and choosing little bits and pieces. Joker stream coming to us over from the purple site, over from Twitch. Ezra fucking doing it again, doing it, and doing it Hawaii again.
I would just recast him as Reverse Flash at this point.
I mean, you
typecasting.
Can really almost do anything.
Fucking jerk.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I have actually come around on Aquaman. I was coming from a place of like, it was okay. I didn't love it. To now, I just don't like it. I think Aquaman is a bad movie. And you want to talk about the mistreatment or the mistreatment's not a great choice of words in my book. I think he was just mismanaged.
Another character
Jason
they were
Momoa,
just very ashamed of.
They don't know who Aquaman is. That's the truth of it. If you thought that fucking Jason Momoa, cool guy Jason Momoa, was, you think Aquaman was fucking riding seahorses that he was gonna land Khaleesi? No, he was not. Jason Momoa.
Right. No way.
It just was not gonna happen. It just wasn't gonna happen. You know who my character for Jason Momoa would have been? Fucking Lobo. Hello. Anyways, I don't talk about it. The Flash again. Ezra Miller. What the hell are you doing? And largely they're counting on the Flash to do what needs to be done, as if his name was Doctor Strange. He's fucking that up. Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle has his own flick. Homeboy from Cobra Kai, stepping in now. Blue Beetle is, I would put him on the level of Iron Man when Iron Man first dropped.
Yeah.
Iron Man was not an A-lister, guys. Iron Man was a C-lister. Not even a B. He was a C-lister. Had some awesome storylines. A demon in a bottle. I mean, Aquaman. Iron Man had some amazing comic book history behind him, but sometimes that doesn't translate. People were not really all that familiar. And then fucking John came out with that flick and it took off. Now he's an A+ lister. I think that could very much be the case for Blue Beetle. It's an awesome character and we're getting the Reyes version, like the 2.0 version. Let's see. Wonder Woman 3. I mean, Wonder Woman 2 was such a fucking disappointment.
It's hard to do that worse, I guess.
We'll see what happens. Now we're also getting the quote-unquote Superman reboot, which is, to my way of thinking, it's going to be an Elseworlds type story, unless they're gonna say like, okay, no, this is our Superman, which whatever, fine. But then what you're saying though is everything else that's been established, it's a restart, right? Unless you're gonna have all these consistently moving parts, and the only one that I'm really, really super excited about is Zatanna.
Yeah.
Fucking Zatanna, because Constantine, like we know, has been, well, Constantine got treatment that he got. Magical characters, for whatever reason, unless they're named Doctor Strange, people fucking do whatever they want with him. Zatanna, you have a very specific list of rules that you had better stick to, otherwise shit is getting thrown at the screen. So look,
Like her
Warner
dad
Brothers
having a
Discovery,
convenient name, Zatanno.
look,
the
they,
two
they
things
have
I want
a
to
big job ahead of them. That's all I know.
Now, one thing that they have going for them, like Joker Stream brought up, a lot of that stuff has a different option for a home. HBO Max as a business model, getting some of these flicks, getting some of these TV shows, the quality dip, something that I do like as well as the chat seems to, is Superman and Lois. But there's been a big quality drop. Allegedly,
Yeah,
that's
from
because
season to season.
HBO Max has a lot less to do with it now, which is problematic. So as we wrap up the Arrowverse, because a lot of that stuff's coming to an end, I think having HBO Max in your back pocket for some of these projects is a beautiful thing, because it's going to allow them to have slightly lower stakes, right? Because it's like a Netflix movie. As long as you're paying your monthly subscription, it's justified. I think we have an opportunity right now with Warner Brothers Discovery to right the ship as much as one can, because they can produce greatness.
But let me ask you this, Charlie, because this was your topic. So they've established, yeah, we want to fix what we have done to the Superman mythos, right? So that's what they're saying. We have the Michael B. Jordan project in the pipe, but like and even established, well, this is gonna be the Superman of it all reboot, or is it just gonna be like an also as well as, like they've already kind of said the Joker is, the Batman is. Are they abandoning the extended universe concept altogether? They haven't even said that. Look, if they came down and said, look, we're just gonna let creators create, play with our toys, and see what they come up with. They can use certain things together. Will it be confusing for some viewers? Sure. But now at this point, after 20, 25 years of pretty consistent comic book movies, motherfuckers are already confused. Like, how many conversations had to be had before Far From Home?
Yeah.
Like, already there are actuallys happening all over comic book properties, whether like what TV shows are connected to what movies, and carryovers, and who's not a different version. Fucking Peacemaker, I've gone on record saying Peacemaker is my absolute has been thus far. Moon Knight's punching strong, but thus far Peacemaker has been my favorite comic book TV that they have produced, even though again Moon Knight is nipping at his heels. But is Peacemaker part of the Snyderverse? Why? Because we saw like two familiar faces. Fucking one of the two faces is gonna be running through realities in like 5 minutes if he gets out of fucking jail in Spam Island. So there's no really saying if that exists in the Snyderverse. Who knows? Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I will say this, as far as my money goes, as far as my hope goes, it's a version of let creators create, and if Peacemaker exists in something that vaguely resembles the Snyderverse, if that's the Batman we're making fun of, if that's the Aquaman who could pop in, I'm perfectly fine with that, because for all the discussions that Far From Home needed, that movie still made a shit ton of money, because ultimately it was a good on its own. It lived on its own, but it also lived as a joint venture of three dynamically different universes kind of collapsed on themselves. And knowing those three universes helped that movie be extra special, but not knowing all three certainly didn't make it unwatchable. You just didn't know why everyone was so hyped about some of the Spider-Man.
Another Spider-Man. Cool. No, yeah,
Exactly. And I'm fine. I'm
I
fine with
agree
it,
with
man.
you,
Shut your
but
mouth. I'm fine with it being cool, cool, cool. John, open your mouth now and let's pay some bills.
I mean, I guess we may as well. We had mentioned it before. He will be attending PAX East with me, not Charlie, because he is sick and likely wrapping it up. It is Sergeant Finesse. You can find him here on Facebook Gaming. You can find him over on the Purple site as well. Multiple streams every day. Outstanding video game content. Supported games, co-streams, giveaways, contests. Don't be a sucker. Check him out today. Definitely check out his posts over the next several days as we are attending PAX East. However, if you need to pick me up, and when I am strolling around the Boston Convention Center, I am likely to go over and follow the White Rabbit like Neo do to sneakenergy.com. Well, so good. Use code SGT at checkout if you're looking for some fresh new merch. Gungala, 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 like my boy Casey Jones like to say. Go over to geeksunleashed.com. Use code SARGE, SARGE at checkout there. When the Sarge is on deck, yes, salute. When you're walking around PAX East, though, you follow. Charlie, what else you got?
Nice. One of my absolute favorite. When I don't feel well, I kind of like cocoon myself at night. I grab whatever puppy is willing to cuddle, and I throw in some tunage, right? Because my eyes hurt, can't wear my glasses, I need to listen to something. And luckily for me, the entire discography of one of my favorite bands of all time, Bad Mary, is available on every single music streaming site. Also, they're recording new music, also as well as they're doing some gigs now. You can follow them and all their adventures on their social medias. All of them are Bad Mary Band. If you want to support them financially, you can do so over on patreon.com/Bad Mary. Give them a follow. Find a favorite song. At the end of this episode, you're going to hear another banger from them, and it happens to be one of my top 5 Bad Mary songs. But without further ado, Johnny boy.
Yes?
Now that I'm done yelling at you, and I'm sorry about that, I'm just fading fast.
Kid is fucking anxious.
Sorry. Hit us with your topic this week, baby.
So, really quickly. So we talked about the propensity for Charlie's dying. It's all right. We'll carry him. So we talked about the propensity for power to corrupt, for ultimate power to be a real temptation for certain cats. And it can be obviously problematic. However, for whatever reason, those type of stories, I'm going to go over here so I'm not in the way of the logo. Those stories do tend to land with most readers, viewers, what have you. Why is that? It's because we're like, yeah, I could see me doing that. If I got powers overnight, I could see myself doing some dirt. It's going to be more than just a passing. Charlie, just play a fucking single round of Red Dead with Charlie, and you know he is going to go for the proverbial low-hanging fruit of kills.
It's true.
Now, that being said, we spoke about here the Superman stories that seem to be so common. Take that into account, right? How can Superman be Superman when he could be fucking Ultraman? Sometimes, though, writers, creators, knowing human nature, will take that shit into account and come up with such a fucking dynamic character. Like, just one of those characters you could just wrap your arms around and like, you're so bad, I love you so much. And Booster Gold is one of those cats. Michael John Carter.
I love Booster.
John spelt Jon the way it's supposed to be. He is, again, DC Comics, created by Dan Jurgens, just an awesome creator. The short version of who Booster Gold is. Booster Gold is the proverbial showboat, right? He is he would be Face Man in the A-Team if you were cool enough to have grown up in the 80s like yours truly. So the funny thing is, he is not of our time or the time of the comics that he exists in. He is from their future. And he's a guy that loves the limelight. He wants to be the hero. He's not a shrinking violet. He wants to be up in lights, right? He's a hero. He's like not a reluctant hero like so many of the ones that we're reading about now. But things didn't go well for our boy Booster. Matter of fact, he laughably would be one of those cats that, like, if he went left at a fork in the road, you knew, Blondie, you should have gone right. So again, power set is great. His look is outstanding. But the fact of the matter is that when things did not go well for him in the future, he said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to take it back. I'm going to hit the rewind button. In the old Choose Your Own Adventures books, his is the equivalent of just like, I'm going to flip back to page 82 and try that shit again. Let me respawn. And he came back in time with the benefit of all this future knowledge, with the benefit of all this future tech, but also with the benefit of, like, that conversation that we all have had. If I could do it again, if I could do it again, I would do this different. I would do that different. He has this opportunity. Now, they did something very, very smart relatively early in his run, is they paired him up. Charlie, who would you say Booster Gold's best damn friend in the world is?
That would be one classic Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle Classic is right, the Ted Cord version of Blue Beetle. They paired him up, and like
Goggle
a
twins.
proverbial, oh my goodness, it was honestly there was like watching super powered Scrubs. Their relationship was just so dynamic. It honestly,
It's God love, that's all it is.
The salt is even better with the pepper. The peanut butter, sorry Charlie, is better because of the jelly. And that was one of those situations. You know, we've seen pairings that should not have necessarily worked on paper end up elevating both parties. The Green brothers, Green Arrow and Green Lantern, had a very, very good similar run. See, Cousin Paul knows. See, Charlie, when I'm talking, you run the chat. That's what we established. But I'll go ahead. I'll jump in.
But you
Charlie's
just did it. I was reaching for it, and you did it yourself.
Because you're dying, and I don't want these final moments of life to have to worry about chat. So Cousin Paul jumping in from YouTube. I'm a fan of Dan Jurgens and Booster Gold. I always like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle together. Super fun. And Cousin Paul is super right. Now, I do got to ask you, Charlie, is your first experience of Booster Gold as a tandem with Blue Beetle? Or did you know him as a standalone?
No,
Beetle. How did you know him? Or are you just learning about him today?
Blue Beetle came to me solo. He was
Booster
featured.
Gold,
Booster Gold.
Ah, okay.
Booster Gold. Sorry. Booster Gold came to me as a single, and was a character that I remember everyone at the comic book shop was like, "Fucking Booster Gold's the titties." And I like read one of the many Booster Gold #1s that didn't involve Blue Beetle, and I was like, this guy sucks. This is not an interesting character. And I distinctly remember,
really,
there was a comic book store by.
Were you like, this is hitting a little too close to home? What are they accusing me of?
Exactly. I like looked down at my Legionnaire's ring, and I'm like, you pricks.
You got a blue star on your chest. You're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I remember I got talked into buying the Blue Beetle #1 at my comic book store, and the next week I go in and the guy's like, "You like Did you like Booster Gold rather?" And I was like, "I gotta tell you, pretty fucking terrible, huh? Like not a charming character at all." And he was like, "Hold on," and gifted me a Blue Beetle Booster Gold issue, like where they were together, and I was like. It like completely informed the character in a totally different way. It recontextualized his solo shit. Because Booster, by design, is kind of an unlikable dude. It's the reason we like him.
100%.
It's the classic Ryan Reynolds character. It's like Van Wilder, but with a fucking flight ring. And when I tell you that getting to read that kind of classic team up, this fucking comic book store knew what was up because I immediately was like, here's $30. How much of this content does $30 get me? Give me the worst issues. Give me waterlogged books. I need to fucking read these two together. And the sum of them as a tandem, holy shit, the real dynamic duo for me for decades was Booster and Beetle. They just work off each other so fucking well.
Yeah, no, you're right, and there are certain characters out there that elevate according to a pairing, right? There's a reason why they use that storytelling. There's only so many, lone figures running. I mean, how many fucking pairings is Batman gonna have? He's got 52 baby kittens going around his ankles on a constant basis in the Batcave, and he's like, "Bye, I hate cats." In any case, so we've established again, Booster Gold just outstanding. Now, once you have a taste for a good character, whether as a pairing, whether it's as a standalone, whether you want to know kind of what's ahead for them, whether you want to know what their origins were, which is kind of like the inverse for Booster. Undoubtedly, from the original creator, one of the longest running mysteries about this whole character's kind of like a comic book world has recently been given up. Given up like fucking it was prom night. And frankly, I am chagrined. I am not going to spoil it because hopefully we have put people, newer fans, or at least like Booster Gold curious. This is a safe space, guys. We will fly your flag.
That's what high school's for.
We are
being Booster
allies.
Gold curious.
We are allies here. So hopefully this will push people to go check out a couple of Booster Gold titles. If you want, you can jump in the comments. You could jump in our slide in our DMs. We'll throw you some really good recos of some of the better back issues to check out if you want like the best of lineup. But one of the longest running mysteries was Charlie. We know Blue Beetle. We know two Blue Beetles. But who the living fuck is Black Beetle? Who's Black Beetle? Since fucking 2006, 2007, if you have been down with the blue and gold, you have asked yourself on numerous occasions who Black Beetle was. The one thing that we did know was that he was a colossal pain in the blue and gold balls of Booster Gold. And this is one of those situations. It would be as if years and years into The Walking Dead, like out of the fucking blue, right before the end credits of like episode 6A, they said, oh, by the way, this is how the zombie apocalypse started. What? What? You're telling me now? You're telling me like this? That's it? That's it? Let me tell you guys, as a Booster Gold fan, both singular and as a part of a sandwich, I was all about who the fuck is Black Beetle? Who is this cat? And they fucking laid it in together, and it was one of those things, Charlie. It's not that I wasn't surprised, that it wasn't like a my head pop off type of moment. It wasn't the manner in which they fucking told it. It was just the fact that they fucking put it out there, dude. Like, they just laid it out there like, oh, by the way, also as well as this. I was shocked. I wasn't shocked by the answer. I was shocked on how the answer came to me. And honestly, with as open and out front as this cat is about pretty much all his thinking, he's like about me. He has never passed by a mirror that he did not like. And he makes no bones about it. I love unapologetic characters. I love characters like Deadpool, like Lobo, who I have mentioned prior. I love characters like that because they make the big blue Boy Scout type characters, they make them shine even more. So you're like, look, this is a good guy because this motherfucker is me. This motherfucker is me. I was just shocked. So I don't know, Charlie. Have you read the most recent? Are you aware of the spoiler-tastic?
I am.
Identity of Black Beetle? Okay.
I am.
So
I just found.
Did you have a similar reaction, or am I just oversensitive?
I think this is a case where you're a little bit more picky with your pull lists than I am.
Sure.
This to me seemed like, we were talking about it before, this was very low-hanging fruit. I was disappointed, but I don't think I was surprised at how annoyed you were
Really?
by the reveal, just because I feel like they've been disappointing me for years. Like, anytime there's a good run, and I think the 7 issues that precede this one in the blue and gold run were fucking rock solid. So I was looking forward to part 8, and then I was like, oh, this is a little bit like Punisher putting down his guns and being in charge of the hand now. I don't know if I give a fuck. Like, it felt very.
When you're reading a book, a whodunit, as it were, what's the one fucking rule that you are never ever to break? What's the line that you're never to cross?
I don't know. What is the rule?
You never introduce the guy who did it immediately before the reveal. You fuck it all up. That is only maybe matched by the fucking the Law and Order rule of whoever the most well-known celebrity guest star is, that's who fucking did it. Every time, folks, if you're ever lying in bed, if you're looking like Charlie, just sniffles, don't know what he got, miserable, cutting John off short because he's so sick, and you're laying in bed and it's 3 a.m. and your dog just wants to sit up on your lap and you're like, I already have a blanket, get the fuck off me. And you're watching Law and Order, because that's usually when it happens.
Bum, 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 bum.
Wait for the guest star that you can identify. That's who did it. I guarantee you it is always the case. And you can think of me. Think of me when you realize that I'm right. But look, that's the fucking rule, dude. It was such such a fucking queef in the wind. I was really unhappy with how it was addressed, and also for a similar reason of, look, Booster Gold has not had the publication run of some of his brethren. Even as a standalone, Jamie Reyes as Blue Beetle has had far more light. And I'll be honest with you, the people who I've had like test conversations for before this show, most people know him best from the fucking DC MMO, from DC Universe Online. They're like, oh yeah, Booster Gold. I didn't know he was in the comics. They did a fucking outstanding job with him there. And you know why, Charlie? The answer is very simple. Because that game was written by comic book writers. Yeah. They know the characters. Same thing with fucking Hawkman and Hawkwoman. They wrote them so beautifully there in a game. They haven't done it yet on any of the shows. So one other reason why I'm very like fingers crossed, nuts crossed, like everything is crossed, that they don't fuck up Hawkman and assumably Hawkwoman in Black Adam, but we'll see.
I mean,
so
they certainly
as you're
look the
coughing
part.
up a lung. My question to you is this. So obviously we're of two different minds on Booster Gold. When was the last time that a question that you have had hanging between your ears about a character, group of characters, world, whatever, something fictional, I don't care if it's comic book, movie, TV show, whatever the case might be, where when something hit, it either blew your fucking mind or let you down like nothing else you can think of as being deflating. Like I know, again, you're not feeling well. I'll take up or down, whatever you got handy.
The one that I think hurt me in a unrepairable way, like deflated my balloon so much that no one will ever be able to hurt me like that again, was the original Hush reveal when they're like, it's Jason Todd. And I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense, but my head is blown up. And then they're like, haha, just fucking with you, Clayface, bitch. And I was like, oh, that makes more sense. Just fucking with you. It's this guy we introduced on the first page, a la fucking CSI Miami, where it's Bruce Wayne's buddy who sewed a face to look like in that reveal, the Hush reveal, in a reveal, like the fucking Chinese nesting dolls of reveals for Hush, each reveal was more disappointing. Now when I see them being like, guess who's back in the New 52? Hush. I audibly will boo. I'll be alone, and I'll just boo. You're dumb, and I hate you.
Just hold the comic up to face like, boo! I hope you hear me. 2D illustrated thing, boo!
Do you remember that movie Cool World, where fucking
Of course. Still in the bank.
Fight Club goes and smashes a cartoon character? I want a Cool World into the Hush comic, and I want to fucking put stupid Hush's face.
Hush?
Kinda. I want to curb stomp Hush, that piece of shit. All three versions of him. You sewed your face to look like Bruce Wayne. Shut the fuck up. Terrible job. There's all sorts of lines. That hurt me beyond repair. So now when they do reveals like fucking Black Beetle, I'm like, whatever. Fuck you, Hush. I still just show all my rage to Hush. What about you?
See that? I mean, the fact that like he's walking around all bandaged up like that, just now we know exactly why, because Charlie just had his willy-nilly way with him. I hate to put it in these terms, but there have been so many. There have been so many, and I do worry that I'm falling into that trap of like, I want this to end this way. This is how I want it to work out. This is the version of this solution that I imagine as being the case. And not even so much of like, haha, see, I was right. Because we all fall into that category. Fucking God knows Game of Thrones has done that to us all.
Yeah. It's the kid in the wheelchair. He's the shut up show.
Image Comics has done it to me probably most consistently. Only because they're so very, very good at like building up anticipation and where stories. Spawn is a really, really big fucking culprit in that capacity. But you know what? I would probably say my number one would be, and we just referenced it here a couple episodes ago, Westworld. Westworld loved season 1. Loved season 2. Detested season 3. And I don't want to say it's Jesse's fault, because God knows a lot of that fucking crystal can do fucked up things to you, maybe even send you to the future and, you know, take away your acting ability. But I'm going to do it anyway. I think it was Jesse's damn fault.
Damn, bitch.
Like, she fucking made it. She got past Marilyn Manson just to have goddamn Jesse bring her down. Get the fuck out of here. And also, that was a similar situation where, like, we're going to introduce this person, and now this is the most important person to this storytelling. What the fuck are you talking about? And that may have been a victim of, like, just running it out too long, letting that line run too long, where now they're at the point where they need to do a fourth just to fix the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, they I think they realize the error of their ways. Now, where comic books have the advantage over something like long-form TV shows or flicks or what have you, they can undo shit overnight. From page to page, they can undo shit. Bring people back from the dead. Oh, this is an alien race. Oh, this is a different reality. Like, every tool is in their belt to undo an unpopular or an unfortunate choice that was made from creator to creator.
Would
so
you
I'm
be
just
mad?
here.
Would you be mad if Westworld had like a main character, like the Man in Black, wakes up and he's like, "What a horrible dream that all of season 3 was." Like, I don't know if I'd be offended. I'd be like, "Yeah, let's run it back, season 3 again." Though,
if he woke up, he's like, oh, "John was right. Season 3 sucked." Just puts the hat back on. Brrr, well, back to it. No, I wouldn't mind that at all. I wouldn't mind that at all. Because I am Booster Gold. I am not Superman. Anyways, Charlie's not feeling well, so we're gonna.
No, yeah,
I think
let's
we're gonna
wrap this
cut
up.
it there, guys. Look, the bottom line is this: the best compliment that you can give, I think, a creator, a publisher, a movie maker, TV show, whatever the case might be, author, pick and
Nice
choose.
balls.
Nice balls is always good. Music maker, painter, I don't get it, whatever the case might be. The best compliment that you can give them, the way that you can show them the most love, is to say like, "What about this though?" Because it shows that you care.
Yeah.
It shows that you were invested in their creation. You were listening intently to their creator voice, and that shit matters. So me and Charlie are creators. Show us that you care. Tell us you hate us. Tell us we're wrong. Do it over and over and over again, because we'll know the underlying message. You love us, bros and sisses. You know. No, Chris. Charlie's not going to PaxEast. Son of a bitch. Why do you gotta bring up a sore subject just because Charlie's on his deathbed? John is going alone, also with Sergeant Finesse. But we're going to be up in Boston. And Charlie's going to be getting his health and vim and vigor back. Look, definitely check out the reveal of fucking Black Beetle. Tell me that I'm wrong. Definitely check out the new entries into the DC combined universe with their new face, with their new foot forward. Hopefully it's a strong one. But more than anything, jump in our comment section, jump in our DMs, hit us up. Look, we're always looking for guests to join us as well. Some of the people who are in chat have guested with us before. We'd love to have them back. We'd love to have new voices back. We love arguing with people, so get at us about stuff like that too. Throw us a like, throw us a follow. Do your due diligence. Keep us doing what we're doing for your simple entertainment. Charlie, we hope you feel better real
Thank you,
soon,
sir.
buddy.
If you see John at PaxEast, give him a big hug and a kiss. John really loves unsolicited touches. Also, give him money. He does love money. There's only one way that we end each and every episode of US Comics Cast. John, you did all sorts of extra lifting today, which I appreciate, because all I did was yell and scream. Why don't you do it one more time? Tell these beautiful people how we end every episode.
Oh, it is so simple. First, you got to turn the power on, then you got to turn the volume up, and you got to tune Bad Mary and open up the window wide and scream out into the night sky. Save me, Space Girl. We out.